So how did I get into this business? I needed a job. I was helping to produce live plays and I got fired. Well, I didn't get fired. I quit after my boss took me to task for having chewed out my box office manager for showing up late on opening night. And I found out later that my box office manager was my boss's mother. So I climbed up the moral high ground and I quit. And went home and told my pregnant wife that I walked away today because this horrible thing happened. So I needed a job. One of the things I thought I might do was go to work for my father-in-law. He was a wedding photographer and quinceañera photographer up in Fresno, California, which was where my wife was from. So we went up there to visit them. Long story short, we never went to work for him. My wife and I realized we couldn't live in the same area code with her mother. And so we had to come up with something else. But while we were there, we attended this seminar that they were going to. I didn't even know what a seminar was, and knew even less when we walked into a Payne Weber office, back when Payne Weber was still a thing, and we sat there and listened to some guy talking to us about single premium deferred annuities, which I had never heard of before. But for some reason, I understood what he was talking about. I was sitting in the audience and I was saying, I know the answer, I know. And I'm sure he was thrilled that the 26-year-old in the audience who was unemployed was answering all his questions. He wanted to talk to the people who had money. But after that experience, I found out later that my father-in-law had turned to my wife and said, you know, Gary could do that. I said, what? I could do that? I mean, work at a stock brokerage firm? Don't you have to have an MBA? And it stuck in my mind, and when we came back home, I conducted research. I was unemployed, so conducting research was I opened up the phone book. I ended up calling the Glendale office of Merrill Lynch. I asked to speak to the manager. I said, hi, what are you looking for a representative of your company? And I sat back and listened, and I was listening very carefully to the educational requirements because I was sure I was underqualified. I had a broadcasting degree, a communications degree. But at no point did he say anything about education, so I asked him, is there a particular degree you're looking for? He said, well, college is nice. And he asked me if I went to college, and I said I did. And he asked me where I went, and I told him. And he said, that's where I went to college. What are you doing tomorrow? Can you come on in and see me? And I'm pretty sure that by the time the telephone hit the cradle, that I had been hired by Merrill Lynch. And that's how I got my start.